Hi, Russell Wells, Rental Manager for Premium Plant Hire, Perth, Western Australia. I'm joined today with Gary Silcock, Manager of All Used in Kewdale. Today we're going to walk through a machine appraisal on a, what sort of machine is this, Gary?
Today, Russell, we're going to look at the 2009 Hitachi ZX 160-3 16-ton hydraulic excavator.
Awesome, mate. Let's get started. So, Gary, we've set our excavator up in a safe level area and it's cordoned off, hence we don't have our safety glasses and high vis at this point in time. Mate, we're at the front of the machine now. What's the most important thing and what are we looking for around here?
Okay, Russ, so here we're looking at the nameplate. This is a Hitachi excavator. They make them from 1 ton to 800 ton. And here the model numbers will tell you exactly what it is. This one here is a ZX, which stands for Zaxxas. 160 is for the 16 ton. The LC is for the long carriage, and it's a -3, which gives you its series. You need all that for the determination of an excavator. Underneath that is their serial number. You'll also find with their serial number it could be stamped in this area as well, but that's what you're looking for in that nameplate.
So Gary, now we're on the left-hand side of the machine. What's the most important things we're looking for as part of the appraisal here?
You're right, Russ, we're on the left-hand side here. The way we would determine that it's the left-hand side is how we sit in the operator's cab, and the left being left and right being right when you're sitting operating the machine. Overall, we're looking for the paint condition, making sure it's not faded, any major dents on this left-hand side, graffiti, stuff like that. Once we've finished there, we have a quick look inside here, which is into our cooler department here, which has got our radiator, our oil cooler, our air conditioner, evaporators, etc. We're making sure that there's no major leaks, right, and no damage that we can visually see there. We also take off the cover for the air cleaner to make sure that it's not too dirty. This particular unit's just been serviced, so we know that it's new, and we have a quick look at the batteries. And that pretty much covers that side of it, and all this unit looks really good.
So Gary, here we're at the rear of the machine where the counterweight is. What are we looking for here?
So at the back of for the counterweights, what we're looking at, they're full of like a pig iron, and we're making sure there's no big dents or anything like that in it, and you can see anything leaking out of them. Not a lot happens to the counterweights, but still worth the look.
We're now on the right hand side of the machine where the hydraulic pumper is, etc. What are the things we need to know over here?
Once again, Russell, we're looking for the paint, making sure that there's no issues on this right hand side. As you can see, there's a small dent on this side, but apart from that, it's pretty good. Inside here, we're into the hydraulic pump of the Hitachi. We're looking here, we can't see inside the pump. What we're looking for is that no one's tampered with it by opening any bolts or whatever, so it all looks fine. There's no major leaks. The other side that we're looking at is the oil level, and this is the oil level here, which is fine based upon that the machine is sitting right and in the correct position to test the oil level.
Gary, we're at the front of the machine. We've got the tracks, the boom, dipper arm, quick hitch and attachment. There's a lot going on here. What's the real important stuff we need to know and be looking at as part of our appraisal?
There's various aspects up here, Russell, that we've got to look at. The first thing while we're in this position, we look down the boom and the dipper to make sure that it's straight and not out of a line. And we also look down through the tracks to make sure that they're straight and all the plates are in line. This here is a general purpose, or what we call a GP bucket. You can see by the wear strips here, it's in reasonably fair condition. Most people who go do an appraisal forget their tape measure. We're the same. So what we do is we measure it from our body, knowing that from the end of my finger to my nose is 900. So this is a 900 mil bucket. We're also down here looking at the side cutters and the teeth. It's a pretty fair bucket. We'd give it better than 50%. Okay, so here we've got the quick hitch. The quick hitch obviously hooks the bucket to the dipper. This particular quick hitch, what you're looking for, no cracks around any of the bosses, there's no hydraulic leaks, it's got its safety pin in, which is an important facet if it needs one. Overall, quick hitch looks in good condition. Excavators are quite simplistic machines and got simplistic names for things. This looks like a dog bone, so they called it a dog bone. And that's in good condition, it's not bent. It's got a H-link here as well, and that's because it looks like a H-link. We then move on to the dipper and the boom. Some people call this dipper a stick for the obvious reason because it looks like a stick. The other thing's a boom because it booms out. So overall we're looking to see if there's any cracks in the welds. We run our eyes through them, making sure there's no major leaks or cracks or damage to them. That's what we're mainly looking for. From here, we also go on to the hammer piping. This has hammer piping. This will be on both sides. All right. And then the next question we'd want to ask about the hammer piping is it reverse flow hammer piping? One of the questions when you're looking at the dipper is whether it is a short, standard or long dipper. The way you do that is you simulate the bucket on the ground with no hitch, which is what we've done here, and the dipper straight up and down. If the boom is straight, will indicate that it's a standard dipper. The boom leaning down will indicate short, and the boom up will indicate that it's a long dipper. That's the rule of thumb of the dipper length. Also, while we're down in this area, we check if the unit has crane valves. This has got crane valves. They're also called anti-lock or anti-drop valves. All right, there's 3 of them on this particular machine, and if a hose bursts, then they're to stop the machine from dropping whatever load it happens to have on at that time. When we're checking for the reverse flow of hydraulics, we look at the hydraulic lines as they come back in, and we follow the hoses around to check that they go to a valve. So you can see this one goes to a valve on that side, and this one here goes to a valve on that side. The other thing while we're up in this area, we check for the slew reduction. We're checking to make sure that there's no oil leaks, etc. And we pull the dipstick and we check the oil level on it. Also, we're looking at the top of the engine cover and everything looks fine up here. We're also looking at the safety rails, making sure that they're in good condition and to make sure there's a beacon and no damage to the top of the cab. We're also looking at the engine. As we can see, this has got a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. At this point, we would check the oil and the oil level, and we're having a general visual of the engine, making sure no major oil leaks or anything that seems to be out of place. So here we're looking at the grease point. We're making sure that the grease point's been used, right, and that the lines going up to the various pins and bushes are holding grease.
Well, that's great, Gary. That's most of the external part of the machine covered off. What about inside the cab? There's some stuff we really need to look at and know in there.
Certainly is, Ross. First off, we have a look at the general condition, a visual condition of it, looking for our glass. All our glass is okay. Shut this door. Our mat is okay. We're looking for our foot controls, everything that we can see here, and this one all looks quite tidy. We then enter the machine, of course using our 3 points of contact, so we make sure that they're all there, and off we go. Once inside the machine, we're having once again another visual of to make sure our dash is all okay and it's not cracked or anything like that, and we're looking for the rest of our attachments up here all in good condition. Okay, so once we get into the operation of it, we start the machine. We check for the hours. This unit's showing 4,900 hours. We look at the various components of the cab to make sure that that's an acceptable amount of hours. Then we start to operate the machine. When we operate the machine, bucket onto the ground, and we're slightly adding pressure to it. We're looking for our movement of our pins and bushes. The first lot that we're looking at are the pins and bushes on the quick hitch to the dipper, and then we do the linkages as well, just above it, and then the pins and bushes from the dipper to the boom. And they all look good, and you would average them all out around 70%. As you can see, there's minimal movement. From there, we look at our slew ring wear. So that's the body of the machine coming up before the tracks, and once again, minimal movement there. From there, we also track the unit forward and reverse, making sure that it can track under its own steam, and we also slew it left and right just to make sure that there's no issues there. So now we're going to talk about the track gear, right? The track gear on this machine. This is the chain. They call that specifically because it looks like a chain. Inside here is a pin and bush, and you feel for your pin and bush, making sure that it's round, and you will feel the wear in it. Down this end here is the sprocket that drives the machine. All excavators are rear wheel drive, so by rights this should be at the other end to go forward. So you should know that when you go sit in the cab, which way's forward and which way's back is always rear wheel drive. We're looking here for the wear on the sprockets, and that should be a flat edge up the top here. and this is a pretty good one, so it's in good condition. Underneath here we have rollers, okay, and we feel the rollers, making sure that they're not worn in or got a concave on them. Down this end here is the idler. What happens is as the chain stretches, there's a big spring in here, right, which you pump up with the grease. That will push this idler along and take up the slack. So it's what they call the wear. And what you do is to figure out where your wear is you look here at your inspection point, you mark it where it should start, and it would start about here. Currently at the moment it is here, and when it's no good it's around here. So you can see, easy to work out your percentages, that's about 70%. Also we're looking for the width of our track. This one here, because we didn't bring a tape measure, we know it's 200 mil across here, so we're looking, and that's 500 mil tracks, okay, and that's what we're looking for. That's track here. As a general rule of thumb, you should replace the chains each 6,000 hours with the sprocket, and the rollers and the idler get changed at 9,000 hours, which is halfway through your new chain. That's a general rule of thumb for the wearing time on a set of excavator chains and tracks for a mid-class, which is 15 to 40 tonne.
That was awesome, mate. Thanks for walking us around the machine. We know it's a Hitachi ZX 160 LC-3. It's got 4,700 hours. It's 2009. We can see the undercarriage is in fair condition. The machine's got a few minor scratches and dents, but it's only cosmetic. Mechanically very sound. All our pins and bushes are in good nick, and the bucket's in fair condition. So how do we actually determine the value of something like this on the market today?
It's a good question, Ross. You can work it back from the percentage. We know that excavators around this size, their life expectancy is somewhere between 12 and 15,000 hours. This one, like we said, is under 5, so there's more than 60% of it left. A new price of one of these units today is probably around 160,000, so that makes it 80,000 for something that's half life, and we said that this has got more than half its life left, so somewhere around that 90,000 is a fair way of rule of thumb of working out a value for this particular machine.
Excellent, mate. Thank you very much. Until next time, stay safe and take it easy. To find out more information about the hiring of plant and equipment, visit premiumplant.com.au, or the purchase of used equipment and attachments, visit allused.com.au.